Oh, shit, how do we do this? See, technically, we can just start whenever, because I
Okay.
think I've got a system going where we don't have to, like, start the video and go, are you ready? 1, 2, 3, go! We can just do whatever, like, have a little, hi, how are you doing at first, and then we can go, alright, let's watch the episode, and boom, off we go.
Okay. Let me start my OBS recording then.
Cool.
Okay. My video is now recording.
Excellent. I can't wait to see. Are you wearing a shirt?
I am.
So am
At
I.
great personal discomfort to myself because it's hot. And I had to turn off my air conditioning so it wouldn't make noise over the video.
Oh yeah, New York summers, and you live like on a. I was gonna say on a floor. Well, obviously you do, but like not on the ground floor, like up somewhere.
No, I live on the 4th floor, so the heat rises.
Yeah. Oh, good.
But it's okay. I make this sacrifice for you, trolls.
Oh, you are such a gentleman and possibly a scholar.
I try.
I'm not actually sure if you are, but in my heart you are.
Fair enough.
So, okay, I'm just gonna look in the camera and do a little intro-y thing, and we'll just start whenever. And
Okay.
feel free to plug the shit out of games you have done and are about to do.
Okay.
And podcasts and whatnot.
All right. I'll try if I remember.
All right. Hi, I'm the Space Quest Historian, and welcome to Gabriel Knight 1. You have to do it with a rolling R. Gabriel Knight 1, Sins of the Fathers. This is a co-commentary playthrough, so I'm not actually playing the game. I am, however, watching myself play the game with a person that I am I was going to say proud, that's the wrong word. You shouldn't feel proud, but I'm honored, flattered indeed, to call him my friend. He is Francisco Gonzalez.
Hello.
He is honored and flattered as well, as you can plainly hear. Yeah, that introduction went spectacularly. Anyway, hi sir, how are you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you, trolls?
I am doing well. I'm wearing a white t-shirt because I'm also on the 1st floor, and you're on the 4th floor in the hot New York summer. I feel for you, sir.
I'm also wearing a white t-shirt. I thought it was just because we could be doing Gabriel Knight cosplay.
That's true.
If it wasn't so hot, I would wear my black coat, but I'm not going to because I'll die.
Oh yeah. See, my wife bought me a black trench coat for the winter. I should not wear that.
No, you shouldn't.
but I might just for future episodes. Right now we're going to watch me play Gabriel Knight, me playing Gabriel Knight, and I'm just gonna start the episode, and we can just have a good old chat about the game.
Okay, let me know when you click play so I can also do it, so we'll be in sync.
I don't think you have to click play.
Oh, really?
No.
Oh, you control the video. Oh,
I control the
how
video.
fancy.
Yes.
Sierra.
Yes.
Sierra. That's who made this game.
That is true.
Oh.
I had to get the whole thing in there. Well, that is a bit loud on my end.
Wah, wah.
I went the extra mile to get MT32 audio for this playthrough.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, which...
Wow, listen to that. I'm turning the volume down a little bit.
This is actually a cheat.
That affects it for you.
Oh, no, that won't affect it for me.
Okay.
The opening screen is actually cheap because the opening screen plays a WAV file of the opening
it
theme.
does. Yes.
And
look at how emo Gabriel Knight is. He's just like, oh, look at my bookstore.
Is that supposed to be Gabriel? Because he looks very weathered. I thought it was like just some random Schottenjäger type. Like,
no, it's Gabriel.
Is it Gabriel? He looks like he's like pushing 50.
Yeah. No, well, I mean, he is kind of pushing 50. And here's Sad Gunther.
Sad Gunther and a leopard.
Yeah. And the leopard. Sad Gunther and the leopard should be the alternate title for this game.
Yes, Gabriel Knight 1, Sad Gunther and the leopard.
Sad Gunther and the leopard. And the lion and the blood. And
the wardrobe.
Weirdly 3D rendered outside exterior of St. George's boat.
This was state of the art back in the day of 1993. And you can tell how state of the art it is by the postage size postage stamp size video window. This is what happens when you run the DOS version in SVGA 640 by 480.
Oh no! What happened to the opening credits?
I cut those out.
Oh, okay.
Because they're basically the end credits. It just plays the end credits. So
That's true.
I left those for the end of the series.
Okay. Well, the music that plays over the end credits is better than the intro of the things anyway.
Yeah, the intro music is kind of weird, actually.
Yeah, I mean, I like the main Gabriel Knight theme, but anyway. Oh, here we go. Here's some great voice acting.
Yeah, and you have to get up in the options and turn on the text for it to work.
Oh, I never do that.
You never do that?
Nah.
I
don't like playing games with subtitles because then I always inevitably read the subtitles instead of listening to the voices. Like, my eyes are drawn to the subtitles.
Well, that is true, but I always play games with subtitles for two reasons. One of which is #second language, and the second is, especially in a game like this, 1993, we're still in the early days of CD-ROM technology, and they hadn't quite worked out things like compression. And some of the voices get a bit drowned out by the music, some voices are really loud, and you'll notice when a sound effect and a voice file is playing at the same time, everything gets really funky in the mix. Like, the voices get really low and delayed, and it's...
Yeah, that's one thing that always irritated me about the CD version of Gabriel Knight is, whenever there's like an ambient sound playing, it does that.
Yeah, when you get to the voodoo ritual... By the way, for people who are watching this, we are probably going to spoil the shit out of the game. I will try my best not to, but we will be referencing things that happen in the future. I think we're just gonna go by the
Gabriel
assumption.
dies horribly.
A lot of times I do intentionally get Gabriel killed on a couple of occasions just for the hell of it.
Oh, good.
Because I like listening to Tim Curry scream "No!" at the top of his lungs in a recording studio. But yeah, we're gonna be referencing things that happen in the future, assuming that people who are watching this playthrough already know the game. So if they didn't know the game, they would probably just, go off and play it themselves, or at least, watch a playthrough without our commentary on it. What the hell was I getting at? Oh yeah, the voodoo ritual in the coming up in a lot of episodes later has that ambient, everyone's dancing, having a good time, sound effect in the background, and then there's a lot of action going on. Tetelo, knife, Dr. John, fists, powder, everything, and all the voices are like delayed by several seconds. So, that was a big build-up for nothing, wasn't it?
As members of the underworld.
Yeah, it's fine. Oh, there's the lovely Virginia Capers.
Yes. Oh, and we are in the presence, ladies and gentlemen, of one of the world's premier Virginia Capers impersonators.
Well, one of, because there's only two, and the premier Virginia Capers impersonator is not with us right now.
Are you perhaps referencing our mutual friend Frederick Olsen?
I am indeed, yes.
Getting in a Skype conversation with the two of you is like the stuff of nightmares. Everything slows,
Yeah. Well, it's kind of like when there's a delay with the ambient sounds here.
Yes, or it's if you're really stoned and everything happens in slow motion.
That too. Yes.
Mind if I borrow the magnifying glass?
And we also have the magnificent Tim Curry doing a Southern American accent. Now, I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm not.
Tim Curry gets a lot of flack for his performance as Gabriel Knight, but I actually find it endearing, to be honest.
Good.
Endearing is a good word.
A little scruffy.
It's I'm not sure how authentic it is.
Oh, it's not authentic at all. I mean, I've been to New Orleans. I've never heard anybody talk like that.
I mean, he does try to sort of.
Oh my God! Look how slow he walks.
Yeah, I'm gonna fix that in a second.
Okay.
This is the original walking speed. This is the walking speed that Sierra Online expected you to play it at.
Right. So yeah, speaking of accents, Gabriel has a very exaggerated Southern sort of Louisiana accent that I've never heard anyone have. But I don't understand, I like that as much flack as Virginia Capers gets as well. I actually think she's a very charming narrator, but I don't understand what her accent is supposed to be. It's sort of like it's sort of like Caribbean or Jamaican or something.
I think
I don't know what that really has to do with New Orleans.
No, I think it's
but-
supposed to be Creole, like New Orleans Creole. She does say New Orleans instead of New Orleans. And
I've never heard anybody call it New Orleans before.
I think that's the stereotype.
Actually, the only time I've ever heard somebody with like a really thick accent was when I was in New Orleans in 2015, and a cab driver had a somewhat thick accent, but he didn't sound like Virginia Capers and he didn't sound like Gabriel Knight. He was just kind of like, well, where are you going? Let's go over here.
Yeah, my stereotype, having never been to New Orleans, my stereotype is that everyone from New Orleans, at least the natives, sound like Louis Armstrong. That's just my stereotype. It's like,
Welcome to New Orleans.
yeah, exactly. You get out of the plane, and the first cab driver just goes, "Where you want to go?"
Actually, it's funny you say that because the last time I've actually been to New Orleans 4 times. I was thinking about this the other day. The last time I went to New Orleans, I went with my girlfriend for our anniversary last year. And as soon as we got off the plane in the airport, they were playing "When the Saints Go Marching In," and I was like, "Well, this is pretty stereotypical."
So
New Orleans is a lovely city.
Yeah, I was just have to ask, which version of "When the Saints Go Marching In" was it? Because there are 4 versions of it playing in the park in this game.
Yeah, I hardly remember.
Was it like a marching band or like a mariachi version?
No, it was
death
it
metal.
Was like radio. No, it was like a radio, like standard jazz band.
That's nice.
Okay.
Kind of creepy though.
There was a
But,
trumpet involved.
Yeah. Yeah, this game, like, speaking of New Orleans, like, this game does a really great job of setting, like, the world building and the setting and stuff. And, like, the first time I went to New Orleans, oh, look at that. Did you right-click there?
I accidentally, well, I didn't accidentally fade in and out, but I accidentally left St. George's bookstore before I thought, oh, wait a minute, she has messages for me and shit. I better go back. So I cut that bit out.
That was just a little dig at the remake where you right-click and he, like, fades in and out of.
I haven't played the remake that much. We'll get back to the remake.
What did she say?
Yeah, but anyway, about New Orleans, yeah, like, the first time I went to New Orleans was because of this game. Because I was like, I want to go see Gabriel Knight. Also, I was 17 at the time, so that's why I had a squeaky voice. But, yeah, it's, like, this game really does a great job of giving you a sense of a real place, and for the most part, it's pretty accurate. I mean, obviously there's no, like, St. George's bookshop on Bourbon Street. Bourbon Street's mostly just a bunch of bars and people throwing up and stuff. But, I mean, there's some quieter parts of Bourbon Street the further away you get from the center, but...
You can imagine people throwing up outside of St. George. I would imagine St. George's Books being in a neighborhood where there's a lot of, dilapidated houses and some, what's the kind of description for a person that I'm looking for? Not derelict, but
ragged?
Ragged, yeah, that's a good one. Yeah. Like it's not the upscale part of New Orleans.
Sure, it's the shabby part of New Orleans.
Yeah.
But I mean, for the most part, the French Quarter kind of Bourbon Street's sort of the divider between the shabby part and the touristy part, to be honest. But yeah, like the Voodoo Museum too. The Voodoo Museum is not quite accurate, but it's a pretty good stylized representation of what the actual Voodoo Museum is. And,
so I actually thought they just made up the Voodoo Museum for the purpose of the book.
There's an actual Voodoo Museum.
You would imagine that there's a lot of voodoo museums in New Orleans, like they would just crop up left and right, almost.
There's one official one. There's a whole bunch of like little kitschy touristy voodoo shops, but
as long as it's a
kind of like the Dixieland drugstore, I guess.
Oh yeah.
That's enough.
So
it doesn't have a huge fucking cobra in the in a plastic cage.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't have a cobra, and it doesn't. But it does have a portrait of Marie Laveau, and it does have like alligator heads and things like that, and like
a wishing stump.
Yeah, it does have a wishing stump. Now you mention it, yeah. And people leave and skulls with hats and stuff like that. So yeah, there's also a pretty cool pharmacy museum, but That's not in this game.
No.
Yeah. But yeah, like the St. Louis Cemetery's in there. Although you can't go in there unless you're with a tour group now because people get mugged in there all the time.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of a pity. But then again, if you are gonna get mugged and possibly killed, then I guess being in a cemetery is a good place to do it because at least
I mean it saves time.
Yeah, it saves time. They don't actually have to transport you all the way back to the. Well, nah. I don't know where I'm going with that joke. That's a bit tasteless.
You don't want to alienate.
Fair enough. And Napoleon House, which doesn't actually quite look like how it's depicted in this game, but it's a cool place. Good food. The food in New Orleans is great. I love muffaladas, which you can get at Napoleon House. It's like a big sandwich with chopped onion or olives and meat and stuff. And Sazerac is a nice drink you can get, which is very potent. I had a nice muffalada and a Sazerac last time I was there at Napoleon House and got drunk in the middle of the day. It was very nice.
And getting drunk in a climate like New Orleans, because there's a lot of humidity and it gets very hot, which is actually... That's one of the things I got about Gabriel Knight as a protagonist. He insists on wearing that long-ass fucking trench coat everywhere.
Yeah.
And this is supposed to be the summer, right?
Yeah, this is in June, and Grace comments on it, like, when she comes back, she's like, one of the comments she makes is, I wish you wouldn't wear that coat out in June, I can smell you from here, which is pretty disgusting if you think about it. And now he's gonna hug his poor grandma.
Who's got fucking candles going, and as far as I can tell, no aircon.
Yeah, no, she definitely. One of these old houses is probably not gonna have air conditioning. So unless she's retrofitted it. But then again, this is the '90s, so like maybe it was cooler back then. I don't know.
Nah, I doubt it. I think the sound designer and Gabriel Knight just fell asleep and forgot to put in that the tentacle sound when they disengage the hook.
And when he gets up off the chair.
Yeah, he just carries half the upholstery with him, like sticks to his ass.
Yeah.
Oh, and he's wearing
inventory.
Yeah, he's wearing long jeans and a fucking trench coat inside.
Yeah, what the hell's wrong with him?
I don't know. I mean, as someone who grew up in a southern climate very similar to New Orleans, this is just mind-boggling to me. Like, why would he? Yeah, you grew up in Florida, right?
Yeah, I grew up in South Florida, and like, why would you do this to, like, it's just as bad down there and humid as it is in New Orleans, if not more so. And yeah, I would never wear a black trench coat in the middle of the summer. That's just asking for it.
I mean, he doesn't dehydrate or anything, and you would expect him to like walk into any location he visits going, "Can I have a sip of water, please?"
Yeah, he doesn't eat or drink or anything. He just kind of wanders around solving puzzles.
Yeah, and getting blown in the face with hypnotic powder. That can't be good either.
I think the game's inventory should just be things stuck to his ass. What's stuck to my ass? Oh, it's my dad's sketchbook.
Yeah. All the pages stick together.
I wish I could decipher these drawings, but all the charcoal melted together because the sweat from my ass just made it all run together.
I think this Rorschach test is supposed to be the symbol I drew in the at the crime scene or something.
Gabriel Knight, sweat of the ass crack. That's the other alternative. That's the other alternate time.
Is it just me, or did it get a bit hotter in here as well? Because I don't know. I've got my lights on, and they get pretty warm. And I'm wearing like a nice white, cool T-shirt and shorts.
I mean, if you want to take your clothes off halfway through the stream, I'm not going to stop you.
I am not going to do that.
I mean, you have to be respectable now that you have more viewers, right?
I'm trying not to be.
Okay. So actually, let's talk a little bit about this puzzle.
Yes, I was just going to ask you if we could talk about this puzzle. I really want to talk about this puzzle. What in the fuck? This is the first one you really get stuck on in the game, I think.
Yeah, there's a few puzzles in this game that are a little funky, and this is one of them. But I did notice earlier that you made a point to read the poem in the bookshop.
Yeah, with Gabriel's fantastic, his fantastic German accent. Drei Drachen.
Yeah. So yeah, the solution to this puzzle is that you're supposed to set the clock to 3, and you're supposed to put the dragon at the top. So there's those clues in St. George's books where, like, you read the poem about the Drei Drachen, and if you look at the dictionary, you learn that Drei means 3 and Drachen means dragon.
Yeah.
So you're somehow supposed to piece all of this together and figure out that you're supposed to set this clock to 3 dragons, and
Yeah.
then you get this little stuff. So, here's my question. Do you actually have to solve this puzzle to proceed to finish the game? I don't think you do.
Well, yeah, because you're supposed to read this letter and ask Grandma about your ancestry, and then she points you to the cemetery.
Well, no, she points you to the cemetery regardless if you ask her about Schottenjägers. If you just ask her about your family, she'll be like, "Oh, you should go to the cemetery."
Oh, that's true.
You don't actually have to read this letter. I think this puzzle might actually be optional now that I think about it.
I don't think it is. I think the day won't end. See, Gabriel Knight
Unless-
operates on the day
Right.
cycle. So if you don't solve this puzzle, he'll just wander around for eternity in limbo,
Okay.
and the day won't end unless you do this.
I see.
But I do think you might be able to not do it until a later date. There might be, because I remember in the remastered they took out some puzzles that were day
Yeah, they
specific.
streamlined it.
Yeah, they streamlined it so they were more like day specific. Also, I find this so odd that the voice actress who plays Grandma Knight, who has this nice lilting voice, "Hi, how are you?" who is first of all utterly incapable of pronouncing Schottenjäger. It's so much fun.
Schottenjäger! Schottenjäger!
It's been so long since I've heard that word. Yes, clearly it has.
I forgot how to pronounce it, Gabriel.
But she also plays the demonic possession voice of Tetelo.
She does.
Which is just this raspy, shouty, screechy voice where she just... I think she must have thrown her voice doing that. It is really awesome, I think. So, it's just... And these are the only 2 roles she plays in the game. And it's just like, okay, they clearly cast a very versatile actor and basically just gave her 2 roles and went, okay, you can go from Spectrum A to Spectrum B, have fun.
Tell me something.
You know, I just realized something, trolls, and I have to apologize, but I just realized that my recording was recording not only my microphone audio, but my computer audio as well. So, I just turned it off, but you're gonna have a fun editing time for this first episode.
I'm
Oh
sorry,
well,
Gran.
I've got the Skype audio recording as well, so I think
Oh,
I'll
okay.
just use that. So
Okay.
I would like to welcome back Francisco now with good audio.
Yay!
Yay, indeed.
Right, anyway, so she's a very versatile voice actress. Sadly, Linda Gary is no longer with us, but
Really?
she did I don't know any of her other work, but I'm usually a pretty big voice
Tell me
actor
about
nerd.
my father.
Yeah, me too. I didn't know that. Did she pass away or something?
Yeah,
Or did
yeah,
she
she
just
died.
disappear? Oh, damn.
Well, yes, no longer with us. She means it's a nice way of saying she's dead.
Oh, yes. Okay. Thank you. I mean, for
I
a
mean,
game
I was-
for a game that's about death, most
yeah.
of all.
Tell me about
I was trying to be tactful, but I guess I couldn't be. So
You
she
came on the
fucked
wrong
off
show
and
for that.
died.
Yeah, she fucked off and died.
But yeah, no, she's clearly a very versatile voice actress. If she could be like the nice granny and also Tetelo. So-
Another voice actor who's sadly not with us is Mary Kay Bergman, whom they also relegated
right.
to like tiny little roles. I can't remember. I think she plays like the kid in the park. You know, the tap dancing.
No,
kid?
she plays. Yeah, but she also plays Gertie, so she has a pretty big role.
Oh, that's actually one of those voices that I'm not entirely sold on. But I think we'll get to that when we get to Germany.
Tell me about
Right,
my mother.
yeah.
I'm
well,
cooking
the
you
whole
a
Germany
really nice
section.
fish. Yeah.
So here's a thing that I think is kind of strange, but I understand from a design perspective why it was done, but it's also kind of strange. Like, why would Gabriel ask his grandmother randomly all about family history one day? Like, shouldn't he know all this stuff already?
Why don't you go by St.
Either he was, I think he was one of those rebellious teenagers, and maybe, I don't know how the pot business is in New Orleans, but maybe he went a bit on, the teenage high road, so to speak, and
Yeah, but
basically
he's
just
like
forgot all about it.
35.
Ritter.
That's actually a point of contention, which will go, like, from the title screen. This does not look like the dude in the title screen, first of all.
No, he doesn't.
I promised I'd never tell you.
He doesn't look
Yeah.
like the same guy that woke up from the nightmare either.
Suppose it doesn't
No,
matter.
no, he does not. I wonder who played him, actually.
I don't
It
know.
must have been one of the Sierra dudes.
It must have been.
They just stuck him in a bed somewhere and said, "Okay, now
Yeah.
now rise up slowly. We're gonna
Take
take a
your
picture."
shirt off and put on your hair up, and now you're gonna be Gabriel Knight.
Why
Yeah.
did Granddad change his name?
The age of I always thought that Gabriel in this first game was closer to like early 30s, like 32, 33 maybe.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
I think they mentioned it at some point in the game actually, and
they?
I have conveniently forgotten all about it. Which reminds me, once we get to the university and talk to the professor, where you can ask
Oh
him.
yeah. He's the one that
He's-
says he's 35, but he looks
Yeah,
like he's like 55.
Yeah, he does. He's by the way, he's very forthcoming with all of his personal
he
details.
is. He's a weirdo, but we'll wait till we get to him.
Yeah, definitely.
I look forward to talking to him.
I left all of this stuff about Gabriel's family life in the video because, you know, if people don't want to listen to us, they can just mute it and read along to this. And it's actually kind of a harrowing tale to start the game off with. I think it builds a very nice bit of suspense that both of his parents were killed in a car accident because they saw something in the road and they swerved off, and his granddad used to wake up with horrible nightmares and say, "I never want to see my family again. They're fucking insane," and all of that. So there's a lot of family building at first. And yet, some people, at least back in 1993, said that this was an incredibly slow opening to a game.
It is. Really. I mean, it is a pretty big info dump if you
Does this
think
mean
about it.
anything
Like
to
I
you?
think it's cool, and I mean it's interesting, but yeah, it essentially it is a pretty slow burn. And I know people who have played this game for the first time
Does this
recently,
mean
or tried to
anything
play
to
this
you?
game for the first time, and it was just so slow for them that they were just like, "Oh, I can't do this," and it's a shame because it's really like. You know, it's cool. I think I understand why Phoenix streamlined it for that reason, because, you know, it does.
Have you ever heard of
It is true that,
Shardlight?
like, you really want to get the story going.
Yeah.
But yeah, because, I mean, the real story doesn't really kick in.
Yaga.
I mean, you do get to investigate the murder scene at the end of this day, but, like, the real story doesn't really kick in until,
Really?
like, maybe day 3 or even day 4.
Yeah, so it's a good thing I kept all the tedious shit in. I think actually
Yeah.
day 1 is 2 videos long in
Yeah,
this playthrough.
day 1 is
So-
definitely pretty long. Like, I do this thing sometimes, I did it last year, where I like to play Gabriel Knight, but I play one in-game day
Well,
every
then, I better
actual
get
day,
going.
and I play it to correspond with the actual day. So like I'll try and play the first day on June 18th, and yeah, day 1 definitely takes the longest. I think like
It
day
does. If you
4
do all of the stuff that you can do
Yeah.
on day 1.
Yeah,
Yep, that
Oh.
was it.
that was
And
it.
that was day 1. And
Okay.
I think when we come
Well,
back,
that was the
and-
first part of day 1.
Yeah, it was the first part of day 1. Sorry, it's the first episode. That's what I was
Yes.
trying to say. So I think when we come back in next week, just wink, wink.
A
next
whole week. Wow.
Yeah. The episodes are gonna come out weekly.
Okay.
Then I'm gonna start picking your brain as a game designer because, like you said, that is a big info dump to like shove in the player's face at the start. So I wanna sort of brainstorm a bit with you about how you could have maybe not let the grandma take care of all of the family history info dump thing and maybe spread it around a bit. So I hope you're game for that next week. Wink, wink. We'll be wearing the same clothes.
Oh yes, of course.
So anyway,
Just like Gabriel.
Yes, exactly. And Adrienne and all
Yes.
the other Sierra heroes.
Well, yeah, most adventure game protagonists really, because it's hard to draw new outfits.
It's
in
hard
2D.
to draw. And when you're on an adventure, I mean, the last thing you're really thinking of is hygiene, like personal hygiene.
Exactly.
Although I
eating.
think coming from New Orleans and then going to Germany and to Africa and you're still wearing the same coat and I would probably get a little greasy around the... Anyway, to you
Yeah.
nice people out in Videoland, thank you. Please like, subscribe, do whatever you kids do. Just leave me a comment because I'm sure Francisco would appreciate it and I definitely would as well. So take care. I will see you around the Chrono Stream.
Bye.